So they've announced this White House UFC fight. Can we expect to see you on the card?
I can't promise anyone anything, but I have a very strong feeling that I'll be.
Jon Jones is gearing up for a potential return to the UFC, and this time it's for something even bigger than the usual fights.
I think it's got to be like a Sean Strickland, or like a, I mean, I could be wrong, but like, I don't know, bro.
But you know that, like, I
Jon
feel
Jones
like,
Aspinall.
but I feel like Dana gained so much leverage after that, because like, Conor McGregor doesn't want to miss that. Jon Jones posted he doesn't want to, like, he joined the testing pool again.
As UFC plans to host a historic event at the White House next year, Jones has set his sights on competing in this monumental showcase. His training sessions have taken an interesting turn, especially after he expressed his desire to work with newly crowned UFC middleweight champion Khamzat Chimaev. The two have crossed paths recently, and Jones has made it clear that he's eager to get Chimaev into his corner. This collaboration, if it happens, could not only elevate Chimaev's game, but also signal Jones's intent to return to top form, despite the doubts surrounding his future in the sport.
And last thing is, I watched you do an interview. You spoke so highly, so respectful of Jon Jones, calling him the GOAT. People are already looking at you as probably one of the greatest to ever do it, and you're so young in your career. Do you feel Jon Jones is the GOAT of the UFC?
Of course, he is a GOAT of MMA, bro. So if somebody could be a king of MMA, he's a king of MMA. So that guy is such a good guy and a crazy fighter. And I like to watch his fights, and I like to watch his eyes. How special he is. You know, he wanna fight. If it's going bad for him, I don't know, some way he work out there with the win there, you know. So he's special guy in MMA, and we can't say this guy is MMA, you know. He's legend. Happy to see him finish now, undefeated. I hope he never come back.
Chimaev's recent performance at UFC 319, where he clinched the middleweight title, has added fuel to the fire of his growing reputation. In an awe-inspiring fight against Dricus du Plessis, Chimaev dominated the octagon, setting a new UFC record for control time: 21 minutes and 40 seconds of ground control over the course of a 25-minute bout. This was an unprecedented display of dominance that cemented his status as one of the most promising fighters in the UFC. His performance didn't go unnoticed by Jones, who shared his admiration on social media. The two seem to share mutual respect, and it's no surprise that Jones would want to team up with Chimaev to sharpen his skills further.
But Chimaev said that you are the scariest guy in MMA.
That's a huge compliment coming from Khamzat. I'm a big fan of Khamzat. I don't think he has any reason to toot my horn or to even be humbled. He doesn't have to be. I mean, heavyweights fear him, and the fact that he has so much respect for me really means a lot. It shows me a lot about his character, his humility to be able to compliment someone in such a huge way. So I'm very grateful and honored.
Despite announcing his retirement earlier this year, Jones seems to be reconsidering his decision. UFC President Dana White had previously suggested that Jones was done, but the prospect of the White House event in 2026 has reignited Jones's competitive spark. After hearing President Trump's plans to hold a UFC event on the White House lawn next year, Jones made it clear that he wanted in on the action. However, White had some doubts about Jones's involvement, particularly due to the fighter's past controversies. While McGregor's potential return to the UFC seems to be a more solid bet in Dana White's eyes, Jones has refused to back down. He's back in the testing pool, signaling his readiness to compete, and continues to train in the hopes that the door to the White House event is not completely closed.
Who would be your dream opponent?
I would want to take whoever's holding the belt at the end of the year.
Any possible names you think?
Well, I mean, as of right now, the champion is Tom Aspinall, but we'll see who's the champion at the end of the year. It'd be only fitting to have an American guy fight for the championship that night, and I'd be willing to put it all on the line.
Nice.
Though White's stance is firm, he has expressed skepticism about putting Jones in such a high-profile spot, citing past issues that have hindered Jones's career. The UFC boss is understandably cautious, given the magnitude of hosting an event on the White House grounds. White emphasized that there are too many risks involved in placing a fighter with Jones's track record in such a spotlight. From past drug test failures to injury setbacks, Jones's history of controversies has led to White's lack of trust in his ability to maintain the necessary focus for such a monumental event. Dana has even gone as far as to say that when it comes to headlining the event, he has more faith in Conor McGregor's ability to deliver than in Jones.
When the fight is going on, while the fight's happening and we're filming, one whole side of the backdrop will be the White House. We will absolutely positively put on the baddest card of all time.
So what would be the dream main event?
The dream main event right now would be Aspinall versus Jones.
Is it possible that McGregor and Jones would fight on the same card?
Could be.
While White has been critical of Jones in the past, the former UFC heavyweight champion has remained confident in his abilities and intentions. Even after Dana White declared that the chances of Jones headlining the White House event were 1,000,000,000 to 1, Jones didn't take the comment as a definitive rejection. Instead, he responded by stating that he was still focused on his comeback plans, continuing to train hard and maintaining a positive outlook on the possibility of participating in the event. His attitude reflects the same unwavering confidence that helped him become one of the most dominant figures in MMA history. Jones's self-belief is unshakable, and despite the odds stacked against him, he's determined to prove that he's still got what it takes to compete at the highest level. But
I know there's been so much speculation about the White House card. I've seen a lot, obviously, of what you said recently to Jim Rome. Just wondered, at this point, is there anything in the next few months or several months that Jon could do where you could say, okay, I actually trust him to put him on that card?
Let me ask you, what do you think Jon would do in the next couple of months that would make me trust putting him on the White House card?
Well, I would not trust him, but I would like to see him fight Aspinall on that card down the road.
So I already said that I don't trust him, and you're asking me what could he do for me to trust him in the next 3 months. You don't trust him.
Well, yes, but you talk to him. I don't.
Yeah. No, I don't talk to him either. I haven't talked to him at all.
Well, there's a greater chance you'll talk to him than I'll talk to him.
Yeah. I would not bet on, if I had to make odds, it's 1,000,000,000 to 1 that I put Jon Jones on the White House card.
Jones is not alone in this race to make it onto the historic White House card. Conor McGregor has also expressed a keen interest in fighting on the White House grounds, and the timing seems to line up perfectly for both fighters. McGregor, like Jones, has re-entered the UFC's anti-doping program, signaling his intent to return to the octagon, while McGregor's focus has been more on his personal fitness journey and making a triumphant return after a long layoff. His rivalry with Jones adds another layer of intrigue to the White House event. McGregor's status as one of the UFC's most marketable stars gives him a certain leverage in the eyes of Dana White, and the UFC president has publicly admitted that he trusts McGregor more when it comes to making a comeback. Despite McGregor's 4-year absence from the sport, White is more confident in McGregor's ability to get in the cage and deliver than in Jones, given the latter's tumultuous career path.
White House card, you said everyone's trying to get on it. Who are the sort of people blowing up your phone trying to get on it?
Well, I mean, everybody wants to be on this card. I mean, you don't even have to know who's blowing up my phone. You can just see it all on the internet. But, you know, the fight's a year away, so the landscape will change a lot over the next year.
I saw you say to the Nelt boys that you want to make it like a badass card and stuff like that. Are we talking a couple of title fights? Are we talking?
Yeah, it'll be a pay-per-view card.
But like UFC 300 level, or you think it'll just depend on what you can do?
The best card we could possibly put together.
Is there a chance you do Conor and Jon on the same card?
I don't know. I mean, in a year, who knows what the world will look like in a year?
Is it so? Obviously, look, this is still to be planned, but logistically, I saw you say you want the White House on one side, the monument on the other.
That's what it'll be. We're going to be on the South Lawn, and literally, when you're watching the fight, this will all be the White House here, and then behind me will be, you know, the Washington Monument.
The White House event has become an enticing prospect for many UFC fighters, but it also comes with its own unique set of challenges. Dana White and President Trump are still in the early stages of planning, and White has revealed that discussions on matchmaking will not begin until after January 2026. The logistics of such a high-profile event are undoubtedly complex, and while both Jones and McGregor are eager to take part, it remains to be seen seen whether the UFC will be willing to take the risk of putting them both in such a high-stakes situation. Jones has continued his training, however, and his return to the testing pool has indicated that he remains fully committed to the idea of competing on the White House card. For now, Jones is staying prepared, believing that his chance, no matter how slim, is still worth fighting for.
I was retired. I felt like I've done it all in the MMA space. There wasn't too many more challenges for me. I just wanted to do something more than championships and money. Donald Trump mentioned that he wanted to have a fight at the White House. That just seems like such a huge opportunity. I'm a very proud American. I have a lot of close friends that are in the military, so I'm back.
Chimaev too seems to be eyeing that elusive chance to feature in such a massive event, though he is also well aware of the competition for a spot on the card. The UFC's roster is full of fighters who would love the opportunity to fight on the White House lawn, and one name that stands out in this regard is Michael Chandler. Chandler, who is currently hoping to settle his long-standing feud with McGregor, has expressed his desire to fight on this prestigious card, even mentioning that he would love to face McGregor there. Chandler's motivations seem to align with his ambition to finally face McGregor in the cage, and he believes that the White House event would provide the perfect stage for such a showdown. However, despite his enthusiasm, Chandler has also acknowledged that McGregor's return is far from guaranteed, and given the uncertainty around McGregor's comeback, Chandler is trying to manage his expectations.
So in my opinion, I'm planning to go to the White House next year.
Jones, McGregor, and Chandler are just a few of the big names in the mix for the UFC White House card, but each fighter faces a unique set of challenges when it comes to securing a spot. For Jones, it's about proving to Dana White that he's still reliable enough to headline such an event, despite his past issues. For McGregor, it's about demonstrating that he can still compete at a high level after a long hiatus. And for Chandler, it's about making sure he gets the chance to face his rivals while also keeping his focus on his own training. There are a lot of moving parts, and while the White House event is still a long way off, it's clear that every fighter involved is taking it seriously. As for Jones, his dedication to making it onto the card seems unwavering. Even if Dana White continues to express doubts, Jones is pressing forward with his training, putting in the work needed to be ready for any opportunity that comes his way. Whether he ends up headlining the White House card or not, his resolve is undeniable. After all, it took a lot more than 1 in a billion odds for Jon Jones to rise to the top of the MMA world.